Juan Soto was the move to make. He became available. As we all know, San Diego spin the wheel and made the deal. As a matter of fact, they couldn't even afford the deals that they gave to some of these players. They were $50 million in the hole that they had to borrow at the end of the season, some people say. And then the Yankees make the trade. I didn't like the trade. I think they gave up one of their best young pitchers in baseball. I think the kid is a fantastic talent. He could play in the bullpen. He looked like he was going to be a pretty good starter. Did you think that the Yankees won this trade, especially if they can't re-sign him in the offseason, or do you think that the Yankees gave too much in this trade?
I think history will say if they can't re-sign him and if they don't at least get to the World Series this year, then probably you look back and say, that was a tough one. To your point, they gave up a lot of pitching, whether you're talking about Michael King, Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, those two maybe very similar. I would have loved if they could have kept one because those guys were flexible. And I don't know if you were referring to Drew Thorpe, the other guy down in AA and AAA who was just tearing it up.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave up a lot. They gave up Higgy, great guy, the biggest fact about him, longest tenured Yankee locker room guy type of a deal. I think they'll, be okay there. But yeah, to answer your question, it is a move where if they don't re-sign him and they don't do big things on the field this year, that, yeah, you're going to say, okay, that was maybe not the move to make, but that hasn't happened yet. So I think you got to see the fan base clamoring for some big moves. That's about as big as you're going to get in this offseason. So they're going for it. They're certainly going for it.
So we've heard a lot of rumors that Juan Soto is not guaranteed to re-sign with the Yankees. Now, he's interested in going to the Mets. He might be interested in going back to the Phillies with Bryce Harper and Trey Turner. What are your thoughts of how realistic it will be for the Yankees? What do you think the market value will be, especially now with the Ohtani contract maybe setting the market a different direction?
Yeah, well, I mean, the arbitration deal or the deal that they made to avoid arbitration in the mid-30s, I think it was, 31,
31, yeah.
Something like 31, okay. So, I mean, that's setting the market, now, if you will, for 1 year. So you're going to have to pay at least that, regardless of the season he has this year. I don't know if they go as high as Ohtani, given obviously that I don't think Juan Soto is going to be the fifth man in the rotation or anything like that. But it's going to be tough. I mean, right, they have a lot of outfielders. Judge is not going anywhere. Stanton's contract is there. You're hoping that he turns it around, but he's also going to DH likely for 85% of the games that he plays the rest of his career. So there's going to be a spot. I don't love Judge in center field. I don't know if the Yankees necessarily do either, but he can play the position. He wants to play the position. He plays it extremely well. You just bring in the whole injury concern because you've got more movement going two directions instead of essentially one. But I don't know. I mean, I think a lot's going to depend on – I don't think anything gets done before the season starts. I will say that. I don't think that happens. And with that said, I don't think anything happens during the season. So a lot's going to depend on what happens. If they have a tough year, tougher way to re-sign him, because ultimately he's so young. I think he wants to win a few if he can in the rest of his career.
What were your thoughts to the Stroman move? Did you like it? And do you think the Yankees are done as far as starting pitching is concerned?
I'll say the Stroman deal, it actually surprised me a little bit that they were able to, that it just seemingly came out of, not a whole lot of speculation or anything like that. I think it's a great signing. A guy that certainly has something left in the tank. We've seen what he can be in spurts with the Mets and spurts with the Cubs, plenty of times with the Blue Jays. Local guy, has some fire, right? Has some personality, and some people will look at that as a positive, and some might look at it as a negative. That's totally fair, and I think Marcus understands that. But I think that's something the Yankees need, right? Right? They need some kind of a spark in addition to, being good baseball players, right? Stroman, you say third in the rotation. If he's third in the rotation, something's gone exceptionally well. I think he could be as high, frankly, as 2 behind Cole. You don't know what you're going to get from Rodon necessarily. Obviously, you've got Cortez coming back-ish from multiple injuries down the stretch. Clark Schmidt was really strong. I think there's all those guys really could emerge kind of in that 2-3 role behind
Garrett Cole.
Behind Cole, of course. Do I think they're done? I don't think they are. I think you want to have someone who you can say is a number 2, at least in my eyes. All these guys, again, certainly could be. And then if they're all pitching well, you've got 5.